and everything was from him. He was very strict. But it was about, I would say, a 15-year decline. I had accrued some successes in life, as far as young and early. I started my business when I was 14 years old, a lawn and landscape business, basically mowing grass when I first started at 14 years old. I've never had a job minus, it was a part-time job in high school, but I started a radio show. I had multiple businesses. I was on stages of church. I was a musician. And so the ego kind of got a hold of me, and I met my my ex-wife at 19 years old. And so that was a 10-year relationship. And that's in that 10-year stretch is where I want to get more into it, because that's where I kind of went downhill. And it was slowly, but I definitely went downhill. And I can, share, because success does not happen overnight, and neither does failure. Failure and success both are very incremental and very slow processes. And I don't think we realize that we got to kind of like every day it's a 6-inch. That's a battle between the 6 inches. So that's kind of what I want to share tonight, is to go a little more in depth as to why I ended up where I was to where I am now. And so that's kind of what I want to share with you guys.
I like what he said, though. He said it's a slow process to be successful or unsuccessful, because that's pretty true if you think about it. Like, unsuccess doesn't happen overnight either.
No, I mean, it probably happens. It could probably happen more rapidly, because I think you could be your own self-demise way faster.
The biggest thing is your own self-demise, and that's what we don't check in with ourselves. And that's the biggest thing, is that I found that in my own life, I can look at myself in the mirror, I can look at myself in the camera and lie and go, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No, man, why don't you really get down to what you really are telling yourself? Because you can lie to yourself your whole life and you could be okay with that, but we just are too robotic, and everyone's like so worried about robots and AI and all this technology. Well, I think we are the robots. Think about it. You get up in the morning, you do the same thing, then you go to work, the job that 80% of America hates, because that's what the statistic is that 80% of Americans do not like their jobs. I don't know if you guys like your jobs. That's up to you guys.
I love my job.
Well, then you're on the 20% of the rare side. So it's one of those things where the majority of people, you're going to live the majority of your life in your job. So do you like it or do you hate it? And the thing that really messed with me was, and I'll get into it, I almost died, I want to say like almost 4 years ago. Maybe it was 3.5. I forget the time because it was a little blurry, and I'll get into what. Oh, yeah. I've been.
It's been that long?
Man, I've been with Sarah for it'll be 4 years, and so it was prior to her. So it's been a second, but mortality hit me. See, that's the problem, is that most people don't hit mortality till they're 65, 70, and because life because you guys probably are like, oh man, life goes forever, and it doesn't really go forever. Think about it, because I'm 37 years old, so I probably have 43-ish summers left. And when you think about it in that aspect, like you have 43, I am 37, I got about 43 summers left. So what the frick am I going to do with 43 summers that I have left? I have a son who's 9 years old, I have a stepson who's 13, and I have a stepdaughter who's 8 years old. So what do I want to do with the rest of my 40-ish summers? And you're not guaranteed 40 summers, because you're not guaranteed to live till 80. You might check out before then. So
this could be your last one.
That's my point. I could literally go home tonight and get in a wreck. Like today, perfect example. I was turning left on the street, and this dude came and almost sideswiped me. And I was like, okay, that was not going to be a bad wreck. But that's the type of stuff that when you don't realize is, we were given this as a gift. You're alive. You got hands. You got feeling. You are able to walk. There's people I know a person literally that his wife, he has 2 kids, and they're under the age of 5, and she is going home. She went home this weekend, hospice, and accepted the fact that she was going to die, and she has cancer. And I go, you're complaining about the fact that some dude flicked you off, or the fact that you're late, or the fact that whatever. I don't care what it is. Why don't you realize that there's people out there that their mom is going to die, and their kids are freaking 3 and 5 years old or whatever it was, and their mom accepted the fact that she's going to die. And this man has been like an amazing man through that period. And I go, man, like, are you serious right now? Like, why are we worried about like the dumb crap that we're worried about? The mom of a freaking, like, you're about to check out, and this woman is accepting and goes, hey, I'm accepting the fact that what God may have, and we don't understand that whole thing. But I go, man, you got to worry about the right stuff, because we're not worried about the right stuff. That is the right stuff to worry about. You're about to check out and leave your kids, and you don't have a choice in that. And so that's kind of where I'm at.
That tends to happen with people that are nearing a death experience. You know, they say that happens, and I feel like you become numb to the reality.
You do.
When you're in that point, you are susceptible to the point that you are allowed to be who you really should be, I guess is what I'm saying. And then you get back into life and you get hard again, and then you lose track of that. What are you saying?
Well, this is a little bit outside of our normal, right? So,
I oh my gosh, I know that you guys are normally is a little bit outside your stuff. So
no, but this is the stuff Kevin and I always talk about. Like, we always talk about stuff like this. I'm like, oh, but the show, whatever. The audience isn't like, our audience is having a beer with us while we do this normally, right? But, I always think that what you're talking about, right? We're worried about the wrong stuff. As a whole, I feel like we're always worried about the wrong stuff, because I feel so many of us just we don't have real stuff to worry about.
No, like, we don't. We have first world problems.
We put ourselves in these holes, right? These corners, these boxes. We trap ourselves in them. So what are we worried about? The BS drama in the office, right? We're worried about Wendy screwing up.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Like, you're worried about the dude that flicks you off, is pissed off. It's like, come on, he just flicked you off. Why don't you calm down? And back in the day, if someone was to like do something to me in traffic or to be rude, I would contemplate what I should have done for like 30, 40 minutes, and I lived my whole life like that, and I always worried about what people were saying, and I'm just like, nah, man, that's not a way to live life. We're just not in the right frame. And then the different people like Jordan Peterson and people that I listen to, and Jay Xiety, they're trying to make wisdom viral, and I feel like everyone in life is, no matter what they're doing, shopping, alcohol, porn, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're trying to chase to be happy. Like, everyone wants to be happy. And what people don't realize is that happiness, it comes from inside of you, man. It's not you. I have achieved, when I was younger, I was at 22, I had a condo, I had a bike, a motorcycle, a Cobra Mustang, which was 500 in the world of its color. I had a truck and I had a business, and those are things that I wanted. And every time I achieved every level that I did, I was like, all right, man, I'm missing something, like
what
you're always
okay.
And so I build this studio, and this studio is going to make me happy in my house. But I go, after the studio is done, I go, all right, it's done. Where does the happiness come from? And so I don't want to live my whole life so empty. And it was empty for the longest time. And I always needed something from someone. And I was never able to like just go, hey, man, I just want to be happy. And so, do I have not happy days? Yeah, man. I mess up. Ask my wife. I mess up all the time. I have short-tempered. All that, but every single day I am definitely trying to become the best version of myself. And I believe, and think about it, if you were to be the best version of yourself, if you were to be the best version of yourself, the podcast would probably be better. I don't even know where your relationships are. Your relationship would probably be better. My relationship would probably be better. Everything, your work, everything. And so if every day you're trying to go, hey, let me put this piece of paper down. See, this paper, I don't know where the camera's at. This stack of paper right here is nothing. There's probably like 30 or 40 pieces of stack. But if you stack that at the end of a day, at the end of a year, at the end of 2 years, eventually you're going to be up here. So every day you just put one of these little tiny pieces of paper down, and you might be a better version of yourself at the end of the year. We're too cool with being average and being just, what are we doing? That's why there's so many of us that are on antidepressants. I was on antidepressants. I was on Xanax 3 a day. I was drinking. I was doing everything I could. And that's and we'll get into that part of it, but that's why I was so into alcohol, was because I couldn't function. I couldn't go into gas stations without being fearful. I was literally, my mind took over my whole body for about 7 years, and I dealt with it off and on. So it was one of those things where it was miserable. And I realized, like, depression, if you mess with depression, I'm not here. Here's the deal. You can change this 100% with your mind, and you can change it but I'm telling you, go to a freaking doctor. Go to a doctor. If you are imbalanced in your mind, go to a doctor. You're playing with life or death when it comes to depression, because that'll take your life. I was in the back of my porch, like literally on my knees, and I didn't know what else to do. I had drank my 11th beer of the day, and it was a nonstop thing, and I couldn't get Xanax, and it was just because my doctor had left, and I wasn't able to go back to her, and so I had a new doctor, and so new doctors are not really wanting to, like, because drugs nowadays in Florida, man, you're not going to mess with that. You're not going to get any kind of doctor that's going to prescribe you that type of stuff. So it was one of those things where I just go, man, I was in a mess, and I needed that, but I didn't need it. And so I don't know.
Well, I don't think it has to be that severe, though, either. I think a lot of people struggle with depression, whether it be heavy depression such as yourself, or I've gone through bouts of depression, not anytime recently. I fight it with anger. I think everybody that knows me knows that. I don't know how you fight yours, Frank. You hide it really well if you've ever been depressed. But
he's a little more woosah.
I feel like he smiles and just puts rose-colored glasses over it. But everybody has a different function of dealing with it.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
I kind of have this belief that, like, and this is why, don't get me wrong, pharmaceuticals are for a reason, right? They wouldn't be around if they didn't help. Like, you help one person, and you save one person's life, I think it's worth looking into and trying again, right? But, obviously there's bigger problems as to why we overprescribe and easily prescribe certain things, right? Now, they are getting much better with the pain medication. I appreciate that. But they're not with the ADD,
Take
the
the profits out of it, and it won't be prescribed.
Well, that's another huge story. Yeah. But like, what I was getting at with that is I'm a firm believer in, like, what it is I think is people losing control of regular emotions, and not everything is even keel.
Emotional intelligence.
Things are wavelengths, right? They're up. If they weren't up and down, man, there wouldn't be problems, right? If everything was even keel the whole time, it's fine. But people don't know how to handle, like, the swings. Today was a bad swing, and then they let it just fucking down forever.
Well, no, and that's the thing, is that we don't, like, people are not okay. Dude, let me tell you something right now. Everything that I post on my site, every video, every post, all that crap, I literally, it's either because I've been through it, I'm going through it, or I've already, like, it's not, I want him on my page is I want you to come out of that going, I want you to think. Why don't you think? Because I know what it was like to be me, and I was not happy. I was happy, and like I said, I had accrued some successes in life, but as I went on, I messed up my first marriage. I messed that up, and I was one of those things where it got to the point where as I got along in that, I got depressed, and so I was on the highest dose of Celexa, and that made me gain weight, and that made me just, like, lethargic. I was tired, and the same thing with that's how I got into drinking so much, was because when I messed up and when I just realized that, I lost my kid to 85 nights out of the year from full time. And when that divorce happened, it just hit me like a rock. And I was like, oh man, I lost my son. And for the majority, probably the rest of his life, I'm only going to see him 84 nights out of the year. And then when that kind of hit me, I was like, man, I feel shitty. Like, that's my fault. And so that tore me up, and it got to the point where I couldn't really look at myself in the mirror. And I think so many times we really can't look at ourselves in the mirror. So here in my mind, I'm thinking, alcoholic, you can't get addicted to a substance. You got to drink for like 5 years straight. No, man, it took like 1 or 2 years of drinking like heavily, because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, and I just drank, and I had gotten addicted. So I withdrew twice from alcohol. The first time was just biting my tongue. I did seize up on the second day, and I bit my tongue through. I had 6 stitches. not fun. And I put my parents through that. And that's the thing is, and I love my parents to death, because without them, I would not be here. And that's why I go, hey, you can change, because I go, I'm not supposed to be here. Like right now, I'm not supposed to be here. And I'll tell you the story why I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. So every day that I get in advance, I go, I'm freaking winning, and I'm definitely doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead, and I'll tell you why I'm supposed to be dead. So the first time was just like, oh my God, like I can't even begin to tell you the agony, the pain of withdrawal. And here I am, I'm drinking because I'm not drinking because I just want to get like screwed up, and I'm trying to watch my language, because here's the deal. This is one thing that you guys may not know. In my videos, I do not curse. I curse on a regular basis. I'm not trying to be fake here. I don't care what you think. If you're hung up on curse words, you're probably don't have enough important things to do in life, or that you shouldn't be hung up on curse words. Curse words are not what you should be hung up on. You should be hung up on a lot more than that. So it's one of those things where I go, I'm going to try to like wash my mouth on this, because like I said, when I get worked up, I do get worked up. And this is not a joke to me. Like when I say that I almost died, I'm being serious. When I say that I was in a hole, I'm being serious. And when I say that you can get out of that, I'm being serious.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
In that moment where you hit that low.
Well, there's another low besides that first
low.
one. Okay.
Either of them.
Okay.
You can answer the question with that. Did you know you were there?
The first one, no.
And the reason I say that is I feel like a lot of times, now that you're better and we're okay sort of a thing, we sit there and look and say, how could they do that to their family? How could they do that to their kids? And how could they actually do that to people they love?
Let me. We're going to do this in 2 seconds, okay? So let's take a step back, because we have people that are watching that have no clue who you are.
Okay.
Okay? So in this, so that we can go back, because I have a follow-up to that. Okay. So who are you today? Like in the shortest way, like who are you? What do you do?
Okay. What I want to do on my page, Jonathan Diaz, is I want you to go on there and to realize that you are born with greatness. Everyone is born with greatness. And I want to encourage, inspire, and I want to change a generation. Like people are like, you're an idiot. Well, here's the deal. I want to be a millionaire of men. The money will follow. Now people go, no, I want to provide for my family. I want to travel the world. I want to have nice things. Don't get me wrong. But I want to affect and I want to impact people. So when someone goes, who is Jonathan Diaz? I want to help you realize that what you have inside you is everything. Everything. Every drug, everything that you could take, every antidepressant, every Xanax, anything, drinking, you have it inside you. We produce the chemicals inside of us. Excuse me, but we don't know how to extract that. We're not taught that. So I'm trying to say is that I want to inspire you to go, hey, here's the deal. If you don't like where you're at, you can change it, but it's going to take work. It's going to take putting the foot in action. So that's what I'm about, is I'm on personal development, because in what I'm trying to say is you will never go wrong investing in yourself. I'm at thousands of hours, probably about 6,000 hours in about a little over 2 years. I'm about 6,000 hours of listening to books and listening to stuff, because if you want to live life the correct way, you're not going to be able to get up and just exist. So that's what I'm about. I'm about going, hey, I want you to live the best version of yourself and realize that no matter where you're at. See, I think addiction, we say it's a disease. I don't think it's a disease. Is it a disease that you picked this Coke can up and then you drank it? It's not a disease. You chose to pick that Coke can up.
I firmly believe that. I have a hard time with
addiction. Starts here, and I'll go back to, and you can come back to that. But addiction starts here. Addiction starts where you need something to pad life. Life got so hard that you needed something to pad it. And when you pad it with whatever you pad it, that's what you become addicted to. And that's the God's honest truth. And here's the deal. Everyone can say, you're not a doctor, you're not a psychologist, you're not an inclination, you're not anything. Okay, but I've done it on myself. And you can tell me whatever you want to tell me about myself, but I'm telling you right now that it's not a disease. It is a choice, and it is a choice to get out of it. And you can agree or disagree with it. Unfollow. I do not care. I'm simply saying that everything that I do or I'm saying is from me. I experienced it myself.
I think that I mean, disease. I don't even like using the word, right?
No, because it's an excuse. It's
Right.
literally a cop out.
I think the disease is being weak, and everything else is just a result
game.
of
The
being
head
weak.
game.
And again, I'm not. Look, I've got my vices. I got
mine too.
You know, I think we all do. I've got my weak moments, right? But you know, I've made choices too, where you know, I'm like, well. Like Kevin and I talk about it. Like I can count on one hand like the number of Advil I've had in the last year because I started eating healthy. And I was like, oh look, once you start eating healthy, like
It's a major change, dude. We're getting older.
Yeah.
We're not young and bucks anymore. My God,
They're all
Kevin's-
looking at me while they're saying that. They're like, we're living healthier lives. Hey, Kevin, we're living healthier.
Kevin, come
You
on.
skinny
But the other
bastard.
thing too, the other thing.
I got gray like George Clooney. I'm not even like 40. Come on now.
But you know, the other thing too that I kind of got sidetracked too, and I think I lost my train of thought on that. But the other thing too is like we put ourselves in these situations, right? And like these doctors, you're saying, okay, so you're not a doctor, right?
Mm-mm.
But and I'm not trying to be, and hippy dippy is such a weird phrase, right?
No, man.
But I'm not trying to be hippy dippy with it, but who determined that these people are doctors too, right? They sat somewhere for a long time, they passed some tests, they did some education. But back like in the core of it, like back in the day, like people they were like shamans and medicine men, and like that guy helps me, right? That's
Aside from a surgeon, I'd agree with you totally. But I kind of want my surgeons to be educated.
So, but what
I mean, yeah, for sure,
Well,
but
the point I was getting at was its experience, and that's where I was tying this back in. I don't care how educated the surgeon is, right? If he has zero experience, start your first patient somewhere
Get
else.
out of here.
Get right. Come back to me later, right? So that's your, you know, that's where experience comes in. Like I would rather guys say, you know, I went to this other school, it wasn't the best, but I've been doing this surgery for 30 freaking years, and I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah.
So that leads me. That was my segue into people just there's a lot of people out there that are motivational speakers or they claim to be. And a lot of them are just positive people. Right? Or you know, they figured a little something out, man. But the experience you have is what has given you both sides to this coin, right? You've experienced both. So what happened? What was that experience where you hit rock bottom and you realized this was...
Well, no, and first of all, what you said is like paramount. Like that is crucial. Don't come to me and talk to me about addiction. Don't come to me and talk to me about divorce. Don't come talk to me about anything about kids unless you are... I have a problem with people that want to like have their opinion. No, don't. Like I had so many people that came up to me and was like, it's in your head. Just stop drinking. Oh, that's it? Like, oh, like that's it? Like, oh, okay, that's a simple fix. I didn't know that. I know that, but it doesn't help people in depression.
Right.
That doesn't help people in anxiety, man. It's real shit when you're in anxiety, man. Like, I would literally go into gas stations. So to give you a little background on how it started was bad decisions. And so like I said, I was on stage and my ego got a hold of me because I was 135 pounds when I graduated high school, skinny. Like
It's like
Frank
40 pounds.
Frank is the same.
I'm almost
person.
6 foot. Okay,
40
so
pounds more than my
I already
dog.
said.
44 pounds in your dog. Come on, man.
I already said you two are going to be the same person by the end of the night.
Man.
He was a lead guitarist as well. And a singer.
Well, no, I can sing, but I mean lead guitar. I'm not
Frank.
lead guitar. No.
What is it we call
I
you?
play chords.
Lead singer complex.
Yeah.
Lead singer.
Yeah.
Well, I had a complex. Trust me, and I'll tell you
Steve
why.
Perry?
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh no! I mean, first of all, any great entrepreneur has a little bit of
It's ego.
not an ego, but you got to have something, and you got to have a set
There's
of
an
balls.
Italian word
No.
for it, and it has hand
Well,
gestures.
You got to have a set of balls to be a businessman. And like I said, I've been my whole life. I literally have had no job. So you got to have a set of balls to be a entrepreneur, a businessman. But how it really started was, and that's the thing. I would say it's about a 15-year decline because in high school, I started to play the violin. I liked music. Music is amazing. Music is like kind of a conduit, and it can induce. And that's why I kind of put music to my videos, is because it can induce, you know, emotion, and it can help get the point across even better. So, anyways, I played the violin. I took lessons for 5 years. Got involved with that, and then I was like, man, this is not really cool. I'm showing up to violin and an orchestra in the North Brevard Orchestra, which is a local county orchestra in our town. And I did that for about 3 or 4 years, and then I ended up teaching myself guitar. And then that's when I got involved with churches. And that's how I kind of like my whole life kind of, and I knew Kevin from back in the day, actually, from back when, you remember Dustin Sam's?
Oh, yeah.
And the youth groups. I was
Shot him with a BB gun.
You shot him with a BB gun?
Yeah, I did.
Dustin's cool enough to accept that too.
That's a story right there.
Well, Dustin Sam's cool. But anyway, so I got involved with it. And so, like I said, early on, I started successes, and then I started working out, and I gained 80 pounds in 8 years, and I went from 8.5% body fat to about 12. So I was buff, and I was going to start a modeling career. An agency was interested in me, and my ego started to take effect 1,000%. And as a young man, when you have a business, you have a car, you have a motorcycle, and you're making more money than any one of your friends, as a young man, I couldn't have. I didn't handle it.
Speaking for one of the ordinary guys,
one of the ordinary guys.
Being good looking is a curse, man.
Oh, thanks again.
Like,
Kevin,
I'm out of
hey,
shape.
take him out of the camera. Take him out of the camera. We'll just put us out here. That's a good looking. That's a good looking man over here.
It puts a lot of pressure on us.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway,
it was a good show, guys.
But yeah, so ego little by little definitely took effect. I had started a radio show, so that even got more. So when I went to restaurants and stuff like that, people would be like, "Man, you're guitar playing and you did this," and so it started to take effect on me. And little by little, I started to make crappy choices. So one of the crappy choices, and this is the first time I've ever shared this, I was at my first big church that I was at. And after stage, I had a friend of mine, and we would go literally like party like rock stars in downtown Orlando. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with drinking. I don't think there's nothing wrong with going out or clubbing or dancing. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Everything in moderation and not to the extent. But I don't think I should have been on stage leading my week doing drinking, and I was hammered. Like we would go to
on a church stage.
Oh, Park Avenue. Like, and I'm going to say
I'm sorry to laugh.
No, and you can laugh all you want. That's the thing is, again, on follow, I do not.
That just proves my point that in the moment you don't realize it.
Well, no, because it was, again, success and failure is incremental. And so it was, for me, that's where it started. So that's what I'm trying to say is that it started there. Is that I would literally get off stage and then, bam, house, get drunk, do the pre-gaming, and go. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. I'm just saying that I don't believe that I should have been to the extent that I was. I mean, I would be getting hammered. I was passed out on Church Street. And so those are the type of things that slowly led to it. So then in my marriage, my first one, we just grew apart, and I got into depression.
Were you drinking like heavily when you guys met and started?
No. The drinking thing was just strictly just because I would wake up and within a minute I would throw up.
Okay.
From anxiety. So everything to do with alcohol or everything to do with that or Xanax was to do with, it was sheer terror. Like I don't know how to explain it. And people that have dealt with panic attacks or anxiety attacks,
they know all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Mine was to the extreme. Within a minute of waking up, unless I did a Xanax, at my worst. Now it wasn't like that for the whole 7 years. It was off and on, and I did get off antidepressants, but it was one of those things where I would literally throw up within a minute of getting up because I lost control of my mind. And so I had gone on antidepressants because my legs started to shake, and my ex-wife was just like, man, this is getting bad. We need to like get you on something. So I got on antidepressants. It kind of helped, and I got on Xanax. So I was on antidepressants and Xanax at the time. I wasn't drinking heavily at the time. But as our relationship got further towards the end of it, we just grew apart, and it was just not good. And I had just made crappy decisions, and before I knew it, it got to the point where I was on 95, and I was so terrified of driving to flip I was going to flip something. I was going to do something. And then my foot literally came off the pedal. Like I was looking down one day, and it happened like 3 or 4 times where I was driving down to the job site, and my foot came off. Like literally, I'm looking at my foot saying, we got to drive. Like, you're driving the truck. You're driving this rig. You got to drive. And it came off of it. And I was like, that's the power of the mind to that extent. So I had lost it completely. So it further got down. She left, got divorced. I lost my kid. I drank even further. And so that's when I went to detox the first time. Most miserable feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. I stopped drinking for about 4 months.
Do you feel a lot of people overlook alcoholism because it's so legal? Meaning, like, I can go buy, like,
yes,
they're letting me
it's
buy
accessible.
this freaking beer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I can go buy this beer. It's not a problem. Everybody's
Absolutely.
fine with it.
Absolutely.
Know?
And it's accessible.
Knows me.
It's accessible, so anybody can get it, and so anybody can do it. So we just got to be careful, because like I said, I don't believe in, the classifying yourself as an addict your whole life. Like, every time I'm a recovering, why don't we deal with the problem of why you're drinking? Because and honestly, it's not even about the drug. It's not about the drug. And so many people are like, all right, what do you on? Heroin? What do you on? Like meth? No. Why are you taking it?
Right.
And the thing that we don't ask is, what good is that drug doing to you? Ask that question. Because if you can ask why, what is it doing good for you, then you can replace it and change it to where it's like, okay, this is what it's doing for me. I need to replace that naturally.
So you think that could be done, and basically like a new healthy relationship reestablished with it?
Absolutely. Now again, it's not like you can go back to heroin on part time, or you can go back to coke on part time. Like I'm not saying that,
prescription painkillers, like.
But what I'm saying is, I believe that we just give the victim mentality too much in life. Like everything in our lives, we blame others, and I even have a tendency of doing that a little bit, because it's easier to go, Kevin, why is this show not getting more views? You didn't do something right. Or you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's my fault.
It's your fault.
That's
like, you're not talking. You're the star of the show. Why are you talking? So so what I'm saying is, it's easy to blame others for where you're at. But no, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and go, if your marriage is crappy, if your relationship is crappy, if your job is crappy, if your life is crappy, blame yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so let's just say everything is great except for this one aspect, right?
Oh, well.
Right? But you start to look at more of it, and you're like, well, if this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, and this sucks, maybe it's me.
Well, you got to ask yourself that question. And like I said, dude, man, I'm not perfect. Like I said, I don't have a perfect relationship. I don't have a perfect marriage. Nothing is perfect in my life. But I will say this, though, that, again, going up to the second time of when it was the last time, and this was the time that it really hit me. I was at rock bottom. I had my 11th beer by, I think it was 1 o'clock, 1:30. I wasn't able to get a hold at the time. That's when my doctor had gone to a different office, so I wasn't able to go to the same doctor, and I had to go to the street to get Xanax. And I was waiting on the person to get the prescription so that I can get the bottle. And I had been reeling without Xanax for 3 days. And when you've cold turkey stopped something like that, whew, like bad. And then that's where I go, man, and this will be a powerful thing, is that suicide. I've had that in a very close circle of mine, but suicide, so many people are like, that's a selfish act. Like, F you for killing yourself. You're so effing selfish. You're such a prick. Like, what? It's not selfish. It's not selfish. And it is selfish. But when I would think those thoughts, and when I was on my knees the last night, that I literally was like, God, I looked up in the back of my porch and I go, I don't know what to do. I have literally taken everything, and I have literally tried everything. I do not know what to do. I just wanted to rest. And so it's not a selfishness at all. It's going, you get so tired of being tired that you just want to sleep.
I'm not going to lie.
You just want to sleep, dude.
This will be the first time I've ever said this, like, publicly, right? My last job was so bad that I wake up in the morning and I have to come up with all of the excuses for me to go in.
Which is bullcrap.
And you're like, the first thing I could think of was, well, if I don't go in, I don't get paid. I don't get paid. Family doesn't get this, right? And then it got to the point that I was like, at first it was like, oh, we don't get the Disney passes. But then I'm like, forget all that crap.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can live without that crap. Then it got to, no, the kids don't eat if I don't go in, And then I'm like, damn it. And then it would be Saturday night. And Kevin knows, because I had this ongoing thing about once Saturday night rolls around, I start getting depressed. Friday evening, Saturday is beautiful. I hated Sundays because Sundays was just...
And everyone does hate Sundays.
And why? So it should be a beautiful day, right? So I would honestly... Now, again, call me whatever you want to call me about this, right? But I would honestly be selfish in my thoughts of, it would be nice to not have to fucking worry about this anymore.
Yeah, dude.
And I would think, and I was like, my insurance would pay out. You know what I mean?
For
The
sure.
kids would be fine.
For sure.
And it would be literally, I'm tired.
I'm just tired of being tired. I'm tired of being tired. Like, I'm so tired of being tired. And
I love life.
No, and I didn't really love life, but I get what you're saying.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I love that day. I loved Thursday evening.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For
I
sure.
loved practice with the kids or whatever. But then it's like, I didn't like going into work in the morning and feeling like I was somebody's like doormat,
And that's a majority of people, though, and that's the thing that people don't realize is that I think the number was that I heard the other day was 80% of Americans do not like their jobs, and I can say that Monday morning, man, not every Monday morning, people, I got to tell you. I get depressed. I still get unhappy. The one thing that literally gives me fulfillment in life is when I get comments, is people text me and goes, man, I'm going through a rough time, and thank you for that. So what I'm doing now, and that's the scary part, is I'm almost 40 years old. I'm 3 years away from 40, and I've had a business for 25 years, and I've had multiple businesses, but I want to do something along the lines of this, and I'm at the halfway point wanting to reinvent myself. Like, I was a douchebag back in the day, and everyone is kind of seeing
I like
me
you just fine.
Well, you like douches. So what I'm saying
I
is
like Frank too, though.
but the thing is, I'm not the conventional person. I believe in God. I believe that I'm a spiritual being. I believe that this life is just a 2-second thing. Like, it really is. Like, if you think about it, like, if you're out there, I don't care your age, do the math on it. I'm 37, so if my average age is 80, that's a human, which is what humans average, and I could probably extend that if I was to eat healthy, which that's a whole other topic. You got to eat healthy. I don't eat healthy enough. I need to eat more healthy because energy is everything. But I go...
I'm talking to you, Frank.
No, but...
You guys seriously are so close. It's
How
ridiculous.
Are we
no, listen.
But in a good way, right?
Okay, I'm going to be totally upfront.
It's good for us. It's not for him.
No, listen.
Okay, go ahead.
When
Kevin talk, because you haven't talked the whole freaking night, dude.
When Jonathan was coming on, he knows me, obviously. He hadn't met you yet. And he sees us on the show, and it's like wiener jokes, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm not going to lie. I was a little worried. I was like, man,
so
my
he's
audience
like,
is not going to translate over.
Is Frank going to be able to... he doesn't know you, and I get it if you've never met us. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Frank is so much more serious than me. But, like, people watch this show, and I've said it off the air, and I've never said it on the camera, is if you met us in real life...
Different.
Everything you see is switched in reality. I am the problem, like always. I am the cusser. I am the crazy one. I'm the one saying the wiener jokes. It's just when it comes to this show. But and I'm saying this for a reason, I always say I love my job. I feel very few. I'd say less than 1% of people actually love their job.
If
20%. It's 13%, to be honest with you. Exact.
I think those people are
about
lying
30%.
like I do normally. But
Probably.
But the thing is
their boss was the one asking them the question.
Their boss, I get the paycheck, bro.
The thing here is I don't love my job. I enjoy my job.
For sure.
It's not a hard job to me. I'm really good at it, and I enjoy it, and I do good for them. They do good for me. I have no complaints as far as that's concerned. But I do have to tell you, I don't enjoy looking forward to a Monday either. And when you were saying about Sunday...
That sucks.
I don't enjoy Sundays because I know Monday's right around the corner.
I love Sundays.
But I do enjoy my job because it has significantly increased my daughter and my son and my wife's lives to where they can have what they need to move
but
forward.
That goes back to fulfillment.
Here's
Bob, where I get screwed up.
I know we weren't going to talk about the comments, but that's where Bob just comes in and says, I love my paycheck.
I do too.
Right, so that's...
If you love your paycheck, that's amazing. And if you love your paycheck, and that's what I'm saying, like, for the people that love their paycheck, I'm not trying to talk to anybody that is happy with their life, because what makes you happy is not going to make me happy. What makes you happy...
I wouldn't call it happy, but I would call it, and this is what I want to say, no. I feel, and this is me a devil's advocate, and I would sit here and to anybody that is, doing videos such as yourself, and I'm sorry I'm going to do this,
dude,
but
go away.
it's
Go
the other
for it.
side is, I feel that as a man, and my biblical responsibility as a man is to, if I have to be miserable,
Yes.
I have to be miserable
For your
to
family.
take care of my family.
Right, but not.
And that's how I am.
I agree.
I wish
1,000%.
I'm not miserable. I don't want you to say that.
But you're saying
But-
that you're going to take care of your responsibilities as a man.
My responsibilities
Absolutely.
are more important to me than me not doing my biblical duty.
Oh,
You know
no,
what I'm
and
saying?
I would agree 1,000% with that.
So I wouldn't just jump off the cliff to be happy.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
and that's what I was trying to say. Like when and if you pursue happiness, it's going to be the best thing I could do. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, so a horse with a carrot. Horses like carrots. Put a horse and put a carrot in front. Like just keep it right here. The horse is always going to go after that carrot, but it's going to stay the same distance. Happiness is the same way because here's the deal. I accrued successes from, and now I have not. I'm not even an entrepreneur because an entrepreneur, I don't believe you don't get to when you're just doing like me. I had like eight employees last year. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm kind of working for myself. That's not like true entrepreneur. Like I'm not going to give myself something.
He's trying to be humble. He's
No.
It's
It's no.
When he was young and he's done
14 years old, but that's still not nothing. Like yeah,
because we were starting businesses at 14.
no,
right?
well, no, it's
No, I
not.
was
But,
probably eating boogers.
I was trying to do the business.
no, what I'm saying is people give themselves accolades or give themselves too much credit. It's like you give yourself the credit it is, but don't at the same time because what Kevin was saying. You can't, man, how do I say this? You gotta,
I'm looking forward to this.
no, it just, because what you, re-say the end of what you said because you're saying that
About my responsibility is greater than my happiness.
okay, so many people chimp out on that. Just because
wanna be a husband, you gotta be
right.
one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just because you're not happy, don't mean you need to go to work. Go to work and get that paycheck, boo boo, because that's what's gonna pay your bills, and you gotta do that. Like, that's your responsibility as a husband, as a man, as a person. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if you're not happy, then change it.
So-
I'm not saying for the happy people. If you're happy with your paycheck and you're happy with your life, what makes me happy is not gonna make that dude happy. What makes me happy might not make you. And so I'm not going to tell you what makes you happy. But if you're chasing happiness, if you're chasing it, happiness is not attained, is not bought, is not achieved. Happiness comes from the inside. If you're not happy with this piece of paper and with this little piece of gum, you're not going to be happy with $1 billion. I'm promising you that.
No, that'll amplify it.
No, it's funny. It's like happiness is like this essence that we can never really own, but we
You can never
always
achieve.
share it. You know what I mean?
yes.
We could. So, for example, like I might have been miserable, but you might have been really happy when you walked in and given me a little
Correct.
bit of that.
Correct.
Right? But it's not mine to own, right? And it's not yours to own. Meaning, like for example, because that could be so easily taken away, right? Something could happen.
In a second, dude.
Your dog could die, and now happiness is gone. You know what I mean? Like it's gone. So I think a lot of the problem that we have is and kind of want to talk about this topic too is being trapped, right? So for like you're saying
man.
is go to work and get that paycheck, but if you're not doing anything for yourself after that, like right, so if you're not bettering your life after work on your spare time or mentally while you're at work, if you're letting work make everything bad, that's a freaking problem. But if you're working to improve your life,
There you go.
Then like what Kevin's saying is like I admire where Kevin is because he's able to, he's doing a job that he doesn't hate and he's earning enough that he's moving his family forward.
No, Kevin's and I say Kevin, he's a go-getter. He's a go-getter that is not quite go-getting it. And I hate to call you out on that, but this dude, I don't know you. If I get to know you, I'll have an opinion on you in a second. But no, I've known this dude. He's a freaking he could be a major entrepreneur. He's underperforming, and I'm really not calling you out, but I'm calling you out because you got so much more potential to do with your life. You got a mouth on you, and you in a good way. No.
Kevin, does this sound like your doctor telling you that you're the healthiest fat guy he's ever
What?
seen?
Yeah. No, everybody has to preface everything they say about me.
But no, like
you notice that?
he literally he's a baller, and he's not getting this job offer that he got for no reason and stuff like that. Like there's a reason why he's successful in his life, but I believe that majority of people, and it's statistically proven, is a majority of people do not live up to their potential. And so when I go to heaven, and again, y'all can be like whatever, I don't care. I believe in God, and I do. And maybe my life, and maybe I curse and whatever, and you can judge all you want on that. But I believe that, I don't want to get to, St. Pete's Gate and be looking at God and go, oh,
Here's the
that
thing, though.
what I
Here's my argument.
should have been?
I was ready for him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Here we go. Antithesis.
Yeah. There is
Okay.
peace and safety. Meaning that if I am working in a safe environment where I know my job is secure,
There's a payoff for that.
and yes, there
Yeah.
may be a higher ceiling,
Yeah.
There's a payoff.
but the point is if and by no means am I struggling,
Everybody
but
wants safety.
there's safety.
Everybody
Wait,
wants
But that's the
and
problem.
I appreciate the safety.
But there's
You
a
know what I
problem.
mean?
There's a problem. That's why we don't live the lives we're supposed to live. And
But
do
if I was single, sky would be the limit because it's just me I'm affected.
No, you
could
can't
sleep
be
on
an
a couch.
idiot.
You could sleep in a
well,
car.
you can't be an idiot and go, oh, by the way, I want to start a new career. Wifey and daughter and son, let's go sleep in a cardboard. You got to be smart about you. Be calculated. Be intelligently smart. Be emotionally smart. Don't be an idiot and go, oh yeah, I believe in this blind faith because I prayed for 7 years.
Well, I know a lot of people that do that. That's why I'm saying.
But see, that's the religion that I was kind of raised on, was to go, let's just pray and go, God, please come heal me. Well, here's the deal, dude. God's not going to come down with a magic wand and go, you're healed. Oh my God, no depression, no anxiety attacks. You're good to go, dude. Oh no, it wasn't till I go, okay. And this was my routine where I started, and this is where it changed. So let me tell you the story and to where I got, because I've been rambling, and we could probably talk for hours. And I know y'all have a time constraint, so y'all let me know when you guys to go.
Man, we're rolling.
Okay.
We're good.
So this is where it really got serious for me, and the transformation, and this is where my, like, literal, and oh man, what I'm about to tell you is not a joke. Y'all can tell me it's a joke. This is because it happened to me, and I am being the God's honest truth right now. So the last day that I literally couldn't drink anymore, I was like, dude, this is 11 beers, it's 1:30.
This is the
This is
detox
the
that you're
last
talking about.
this is the last day that I had already, like, well, actually, let me rewind, because before that, a year before that was when it got bad. And so it was the last time, and two of my friends came to me and were like, dude, you're not doing so hot. Like, you need help. Like, you are dealing with anxiety, and all you do is drink for it, and all you do is take that. And I was literally, I couldn't sleep, so I was taking diazepam, I was taking Xanax, and I was drinking. So I had to rotate the three of them in a matter of the right time so that I wouldn't OD on any of them, because those are two downers, and they're all downers. And so I would count the hours, and I would do all that stuff. And so the last day I'd had 11th beer by about 1:30, and this was the third day or fourth day that I couldn't have Xanax, and I couldn't get a hold of it. And I was just, when you quit something like that, you literally go into the depths of despair. So like this 4 days of just, it was crazy. I couldn't.
Was that the day you were sitting in my garage?
Dude, actually no, I don't know. This one, no, this was just solo on this one. This was before that. This was horrible. This was so bad. And so they took me to my parents, and I started, and oh man, I can't even begin to describe to you. On day 2, it's the worst. Vomiting, diarrhea. You can't drink. You can't do anything. And it's never something. You should never detox from alcohol. Alcohol is the worst drug, more dangerous than heroin to get off of. You should never quit cold turkey. But I was so to that point where I realized, I was like, man, I can't do this no more. This is I'm going to die before I'm 40. And so that's kind of what woke me up. And so I started the process again, and knowing what it was going to feel like, I didn't want to do it. It was horrible. And the second day in, my mom came back into the room, and I was apparently seizing, shaking, convulsive. My eyes were rolled back to my back of my head. I was foaming at the mouth. I don't remember that. The next thing that I remembered was there was about 6 paramedics. So I woke up to 6 paramedics in the room. Man, give me a second.
That's all right, man.
So I woke up the 6 paramedics in the room, and it was one of those things where I was just like, oh man, this is where my life's at. Like, I have a 9-year-old son, and or 8-year-old or 7, I didn't remember at the time, and it was like, man, this is crappy. Like I'm here. And so they put me in the ambulance, and my heart was racing, and I just remember it beating out of my chest, and I remember them just frantically working on in the ambulance, right? And I remember going, I've never been in an ambulance before. This is so crappy. Like, I'm in an ambulance on the wrong end of this crap, not for a joyride. I'm in the ambulance because I'm about to die. And not knowing that I was about to die, but I can hear them, and they're putting IVs in me. And so the whole ride, and I even remember a certain turn, I was like, I'm on this turn. And so I ended up getting to the hospital, and it was, they rushed me to the ER. And within a matter of minutes, the doctor was like, hey, we can't slow your heart rate down. Your heart rate's at 225. So the normal heart rate is probably about, I think it's 60 beats per minute if you're healthy, 70, whatever, 80. I don't give a dang. Like,
Frank?
The average heartbeat is probably like, I think it's 60 or 70 beats. If you're healthy, I think it's like 60. Or if you're lower, it can even be lower than that.
My average daily is in the 60s.
Okay, so average heartbeat per minute is about 60. Well, mine was 225.
Oh, Jesus.
So I was in the ER at 225. And
225 is
225 per minute.
Is max.
What the doctor said was like, hey, dude, your heart's going to explode. And we have to put you down so we can shock you back into rhythm. Because when you're in AFib RVR, which is when you're withdrawing or whatever, is I guess the lack of chemicals that you're used to, you just go backwards. So anyways, so AFib RVR 225, he's like, we got to put you down, count back from 100. So I counted back from 100 the first time to 80, didn't go down. And he was like, because it's going to hurt. And so he was like, hey, go ahead and count back again, because they gave me more. Because I was so jacked up that I wasn't going down. I wasn't falling asleep. I ended up not going. I was dazed, half back and forth. But the only thing I remember was that he said, look, buddy, I'm sorry. This is going to hurt, but you're not going down, and we got to shock your heart because you're not going to make it much longer. So I was minutes away from dying. And at that point, somewhere in between there and the shocking, I remember I went outside of my body, and I remember looking down on my body, and I was in a white room. And it was so surreal. And the thing is, like, you can say I'm BSing, you can say I'm whatever. I do not care. This is what happened to me, so I'm going to say it. And I don't care if people think what they think. But this is what happened to me. So I'm in the hospital bed, on the freaking gurney, whatever stretch, whatever it is, in the ER room. And I literally am in there. And he says that to me. And then after that, it was a white room. And I was up about, like, on the ceiling, and I was looking down, and I don't see anything but the doctor team around me and the doctor behind me. Everything's white. And then I hear him go, clear. And then when he goes clear, bam, he shocks me. The second he shocks me, I come back into my body, and I look to the left. And let me tell you something. I was arced up. He hit me, and I was arced up, and the pressure, I can't even describe to you the pressure of 220 on your chest. I had 2 burn marks. And I wish I would have been able to give you the picture of when I was in the room after, when they had the pads, of seizure pads, after I was chilling in the hospital. But he shocked me. Don't ever get shocked. Don't ever go through withdrawal. It's the worst thing ever that you could possibly go through. It's a stupid decision. And that's the thing that I'm saying. It wasn't a disease that got me. It was because I couldn't deal with the fact that I was so crappy, and I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. So I drank to not to deal with that. And that's what we do, is we numb it. We numb so much stuff, and we just don't, we're not serious about it. And we just kind of put it down, and it's like, okay, you made a massive mistake, dude. But guess what? On the other side of that, 4 years later, if it was not for all the shit that I went through, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing the videos. I wouldn't be doing that. So almost dying, and that still didn't even wake me up. But eventually it did. After about 1.5 years after that, I did wake up to where I'm at now, to go at that day. Now, 1 year later, I was going, and I was back at that point again where my anxiety had gotten bad again. And I was to the point where I didn't know what I was going to do. And then that's when that day I drank the 11th beer. And then I literally went that night. I took 1 Xanax because I was able to get a hold of it. And I woke up the next day, and I didn't have to drink a beer for the first time. I didn't have to take a Xanax for the first time. And that was 30 seconds. And I was like, oh, I want to quit. I want to quit. I really do want to quit. And so I turned that 30 seconds into 6 minutes, and I turned that 6 minutes into 12 minutes, and I kept going on minute and minute. And then I was like, oh. And then I was like, okay, I want to learn and find out. I want to know what it is to be happy. I want to be happy because I'm freaking not happy in my life. And that's when I went on YouTube and listened to everything Tony Robbins. And literally every day from that point to this day, I have never not listened. So now at work, when I'm at work, I'll listen to books. I listened to 11-hour audiobook the other day in 2.5 days. I'm able to knock out books, and oh my goodness. And so I found, and the thing is that's crazy, and this is what I'm going to tell you guys. Last summer I achieved this. I am not now there because my habits and my routines are not to where they were. But I'm going to tell you my habits to where I literally, like when people go, oh, I'm high on life. You're full of crap, dude. Like, get out of here with that. Like, you serious right now? I used to look at people like that. Last summer, I achieved that. And it was the worst summer ever. I had my business. It was struggling. I was struggling with money. But because my routines, I was meditating, I was literally changing my genetics. I was changing who I was as a person, because who I am today, I was not. And you can attest somewhat to that because you used to know me. I was an egotistical. There's a lot of words I can say besides that. I was all about me. I was selfish. I didn't treat people necessarily the nicest. I was like, it was all about me. And now I just go, I love people. I just want to help people. I just want to know that you can know that I was in the most worst place. I was so screwed up. But because I was trying to I wanted to start making myself better just a little every day. And I started every day, little bit. And that's what it takes. And that's what people don't get, is it just takes a little. It just takes a little step. And do that every day. And over the course of time, you will be a much better person. And think if we were all to be the best version of ourselves, everyone watching, everyone literally in this planet, the 9, 8, 7 billion, whatever we are, if every one of us was to just worry about our circle and just being the best version, our marriages would be better, our jobs would be better, everything would be better about our lives if we just tried to be the best version of ourselves every day, because that's who we're born. We don't realize that circumstances, breakups, heartbreaks, divorces, whatever it is, loss of jobs, they kill our dreams. And I dreamed when I was younger and I lost that. And then I just started to go to where, life just knocked me down. This is crappy. And then I got depressed. And then I got all this crap. And it was like, this is not fun. So what's the point of life? And that's what so many people think is like, I'm 1 out of 7 billion. What does it matter what I think or what I do? Well, what if we change it to where everything matters? And every decision that we make is a direct reflection of where we're at. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, you're not. You're not. So it's funny. I was thinking about Rogan, and I heard this. You know when you hear a quote, or there's a quote that you think of, and all of a sudden you hear it like 5 times.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It's like you feel like you manifested that a little bit.
Yeah, yes.
But there's the you said it, and again, I always try. Man, I try to analyze everything, and that's like a weakness of mine too.
You can do too much.
Because it's held me back from doing a lot of things, right? When I should have just jumped on it, right? Like I'm the kind of guy like, I want everything to be perfect before I do it. But lately I've been doing that, right? Changing. I've been just jumping and learning, right? But there's and I'm trying to look to see who said it, but comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh no, it is, dude. Like expectation is the thief of joy. And I'm the biggest dude about this. I have expectations on my relationship. I have expectations about my life. And maybe that's what caused me to be so discontent with where I was. But expectation will kill everything. And so on a daily basis, I really genuinely try. Doesn't always happen. But you got to kind of go. Life is going to be like a heartbeat. It's almost like the monitor back there with the voices that are going like this. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. And you're never not going to have ups and downs. And see, the people that don't want to deal with the down or don't want to, we get too much on the ups and we get too much on the downs. The key to life, and this is the God's honest truth. And again, this is something that I'm preaching to myself. So like, I'm not preaching or I'm not teaching or I'm not anything. This is stuff that I still need work on. But imagine life like this, like your thoughts are like clouds, like your thoughts are clouds, and you cannot, because we have so many thousands, we have like literally, I think it's 70,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of,
which is insane, by the way.
Which, let me say what he said. Let's say that again. 80,000 thoughts a day. And this is the real sobering thought. 90% of what you think or what you thought today, tomorrow, you're going to think the same thing.
There's so many of them. That's amazing.
But why is it that 90% of what we think today, you're going to think tomorrow? So maybe we are the robots. Maybe. We are so worried about, oh my God, AI, and oh my gosh, the technology is so evil and all this stuff. Well, here's the deal. You get up every day. You do the same thing. You eat, you go to bed, and you repeat. And see, we don't realize, and as parents, you're a parent. You're a parent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two times.
Okay. 2 times. Well, I'm 1. But the first 7 years of adolescence, like the raising, they're in theta, which is hypnos, which is downloading. So the first 7 years of a human's life, you are operating 90% out of that. You're operating 90% out of that, and so am I. But you can change that. See, we think that genetics, and we actually talked about this. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm not knowledgeable enough into it. But epigenetics, there's a new study out that's kind of saying that we're not necessarily we're predisposed. Yeah, we have genes, and we're predisposed to a certain extent, but our environment more affects.
Yeah.
The gene, which is epigenetics, a study of epigenetics, which is Dr. Limpton from Stanford, and he's been the foremost expert on it. And I believe it because I go, man, I was this douchebag. I was this I was a totally different person than I was now. Not to say that I'm some awesome person now, but just say that I wasn't thoughtful of other people. I wasn't kind. I didn't think like I think now. And I wasn't that. So you can't tell me, I don't care who you are, you can't tell me that you can't change yourself. And that started by, you got to reprogram your mind. How do you reprogram your mind? I'll tell you. You go into that state when you go from sleep to waking up, and when you go the opposite. So your brain, your subconscious you can pierce it. And so what I did for about 4 months in the summer last year, I put headphones in my ear every single time before I went to bed of who I wanted to become. And slowly but surely, I became that person.
So I have a great friend that we call it back, so I'm part of an entrepreneurs group. Okay. So, and again, I don't want to throw too many names out there because some of them don't want to be affiliated with this podcast for obvious reasons.
There might be one affiliated with this one.
Hey, whatever. We got a cool studio.
We got, so we meet every Friday, and it's just entrepreneurs. And it's like, what are we doing? And it's not a leads, not a referrals group. It's like, this is what I got going on. And somebody would be like, oh, try that. It's like, oh, cool, it worked. That sort of thing. I mean, that was the very dumbest way to explain it, right? But that's it, right? But my buddy Chris always talks about back from the future thinking, right? And it's like, okay, where are you 10 years from now? Especially in the key things, your business, your life, your family.
Where are you?
Right? But where I try to think about is where I am. I try to think financially. I try to look at like, oh, am I happy in this house? Like, am I here 10 years from now? Like I can be, but I see these things that I have, and then we try to go in depth. Like, okay, what are you wearing? Right? Because that's important. Right?
Everything, dude. Like, that's the thing that we don't understand is that who we are. And I'm getting more onto this because even my closet, I have a tendency of keeping my closet a little on, like, just that's the one area that I'm like, eh. But I go, man, no, in every area of my life, I kind of need to step up because I was at such a high, just achieving such a level of consciousness last summer that I'm not there this summer. And I realized that my habits weren't as good as they were. My morning routine, because morning routine is crucial. If you do not have a morning routine, I don't believe you're going to be a high achiever. You're really not, because you got to think about it. The first thing you get up, what do? You're thinking about what you thought about yesterday and the same crap and the same negativity. And so every morning when I get up, Don't always achieve it. I'm not always in the flow, and I'm not always in a good mood, but I literally go, thank you, God, for the breath. I'm alive. I got these fingers. I got a nose that I can breathe out. I got hair in my head. I am not crippled. I'm not like without limbs. And so one thing that if you just do every morning, if you start off your morning, list what you're grateful for. Yep. Because here's the deal: what you focus on produces itself more. And all this cliche sayings and stuff and the quotes and all that stuff that I used to hear, I go, no, man, as a man thinketh. Read that book by Napoleon Hill. That thing is freaking like on point. Like, what you think about, you will become. And so when you tell your brain something and you're trying, our brain is old school, and we don't realize that we can kind of trick it. You know, we can trick it because it's still on the fight or flight kind of mechanism. When we go into the cortisol level, when the cortisol is being dumped into our bodies on the stress level, that it goes to our limbs, it goes away from our gut, it goes away from that. So it's like, that's not a good, we're not in the lion and dinosaur days. We don't have to flee. We need to, like, stress kills you.
Yeah, for sure.
Stress produces
100%.
cancer. Stress produces everything negative.
Well, when they were producing stress, it was usually followed by some form of physical activity.
Correct.
Right, which counteracted that
so
stress.
It goes down after that.
So I believe that's why cigarette smoking, people who smoke cigarettes tend to get like
visceral fat.
Visceral fat. Okay,
Which is the most unhealthiest.
Which is fat produced by generating stress. Right, so the idea was that fat was produced.
Thanks for pointing out.
Kevin, you're self-deprecating is ridiculous.
Well,
dude.
that fat was produced for fuel, for energy,
correct,
to outrun the.
But that was back in the day.
I should be the most energetic person in the world. I should be just like, woo, at all times.
But you've got that energy, man. You do. I've seen you on jobs where, Kevin, you'll pick up something that's like 300 freaking pounds and walk away with it.
But
But
what you're saying is true, though, is that's what it was back in the day. So our minds are still the same. We haven't like necessarily evolved from that the flight or the fight or flight like mechanism. And so we got to realize that, being in stress, you know how much energy it takes to amp up your immune system, and when you're in stress and when you're in that, nothing positive comes from being under stress. And I'm not here to say positivity, blah blah blah, just ignore your problems. No, I'm saying, hey, deal with it. When you have a bad day, like, deal with that. Just don't ignore it and shove it under the rug. Just deal with it. It's okay to have a bad day. Just don't let that bad day turn into 3 or 6 or 10 or 30 days. Because the problem that we don't realize is that, like, right now, you're a typically happy guy, right, Kevin?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, well,
if you get to know me,
you're a curmudgeon old man. You're a Scrooge.
No, if you get to know me,
you're a nice
duck.
guy.
I'm a duck out in the open, so calm, cool, collected. Like if you're not living with me or
for sure.
around me like Frank is, but
here.
if you meet me, I am volatile. I'm literally a giant ball of gas just waiting for a slight
ultimately,
spark.
like that's okay. So my opinion, my psychoanalysis here on Kevin.
Psychoanalysis. Here we go.
So that's based on what we said the first 7 years of life.
Correct.
Right? Kevin is a relatively satisfied person, which allows him to do that sort of stuff because he's not. This is all compliments, by the way. So he's not.
No, my man is awesome right here, dude.
Sure.
I got nothing negative to
He's
say.
not stressed about where his next meal is coming from. He's not stressed about.
But he got there because of where his past was.
Correct.
He got batted into that. No, but good and bad. He got batted because this is what I've always told Kevin. I said, you're emotionally a little guarded.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You're not going to allow yourself to feel, and that might be because of his past.
Sure.
And so there's benefits to being that, and then there's benefits to being me. I feel everything. I'm an idiot. And he doesn't feel anything. He's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So there's two opposite ends of the spectrum. So this is what I say is, why don't we let life rob us of, hey, let me put my walls up, because you'll never experience that true love. But at the same time, you're going to go, if I let them bastards down, I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but that's life in a nutshell. So why don't you stop being scared of the hurt or stop being scared of the failure? Why don't you just go for life and try to live what you can live, the best of you? And again, what I want might not be what you want. And that's okay. And see, that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to say is that it's okay. If you're cool, any comments on here? If you're cool with your paycheck, more props to you, dude. You figured out life and you are happy where you're at. I am not talking to you. Tune off. What I'm talking to is the people that are miserable. The people that go, God, it's Monday. Huh? God, I hate Mondays. I hate Sunday nights. I like Sunday nights. I like Monday mornings. I get to produce new content. And so since I've been doing this, my life took way more fulfillment.
This has been an escape. I mean, at least for me. I don't know about with you, but I've always looked forward to this. There's been some shows where I haven't looked forward to it, where it's become a job. But for the most part,
your passion, you know?
Yeah. It's not a secret. Like when I talk to people about it, like I wish that these conversations we're having at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. You get what I'm trying to say? Like I wish that these conversations. I'm not talking about our normal having a drink and dick
everybody
jokes.
Everybody has a fun time.
But that's what our shows become because look, we're both working, we're grinding, right? But
you get lost in that. You get lost in that,
which is why which is why this has always been such a good grounding thing for us, right? Because it resets. And to be honest with you, it kind of gave me Sundays back, right? Because it was like, all right, so now
you look forward to something.
Oh, and now I'm putting extra effort into family time, right? Because I've missed out on this evening, right? But in a perfect world, I mean, we're doing this twice a day, Monday through Friday, and we're exposing people to you. We're exposing people.
Dude, you're doing good. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even know that what you're doing. And that's the thing is, life is about impact. And people are just like, you're such an idiot. You're just about yourself. And there's like a couple people that I've heard through the grapevine that are like, he's so about himself. Why? Because I'm wearing a Hurley and because my beard is like trimmed. Like, I'm not into myself like that. Like, I used to be into myself. I used to be huge. I used to be buff. I used to be egomaniac. I'm not that, dude. Life humbled me. I got humbled. I was on my knees, dude. I'm admitting to failure after failure. I bankrupted a $100,000 business. I lost a $50,000 contract this year. I could keep going on. I lose my temper all the time. I'm not a perfect dad. I'm not a perfect husband. I'm not perfect anything. I'm the opposite of perfect. But what I am saying to you is you can change from being dead almost to being where I'm at now. And I'm never going to be. And that's the key is you're never going to know everything. And the second you think you know everything, you done screwed up.
I forget who said it. We were talking about stress a second ago, but I forget who said it. And one thing that we do, because we're programmed to stress,
that's
right?
What we
to
are.
deal with stress, right? And you know, we've talked about reprogramming and how it really is possible.
It's possible. 1,000%.
It's very possible.
1,000.
Because we're creatures of habit and routine.
Everything.
They come from somewhere, right? They come from somewhere.
And they can be changed, though.
They can be changed. The reason why we have these things genetic is it's because it's like okay, so an architect, right? An up and coming architect isn't going to reinvent the process of developing a building.
Man, no.
They're going to use every basic step that has been brought before them, but then maybe they can find a bit here to improve on. Right? To make it better. So that's why we have these blueprints. We can rewrite them because we find better ways. So we are designed to be efficient. I run all the time. Heart rate training teaches you that you can now run the same distance at the same speed at a lower heart rate by doing it repetitively.
And that's the thing is that people don't get is like, you know, most people don't get this is and no, this is tough for me to kind of like accept because, you know, no one likes to suffer. No one likes to go through pain and no one likes to grind. But think about this. What does it take to become a buff person?
No, I like the grind.
I do. I do as well, but
I like to see where my breaking point is. Have you ever? No, listen. Have you ever been?
Yes and no.
Not physicality, but on a
mental,
in a stressful situation where only you could fix it, and everything went wrong. I mean, everything. I've had it happen several times, and then you're so flustered that you think to yourself, I need to quit because I'm not going to make it through this.
And then
you make it through and it's a crowning moment.
My man up top, baby.
I do it all the
right
time.
there, that's what you got to realize is that on the other side of that struggle, and I never got that before because I'm like, God, this struggle sucks. I even remember telling my dad last year, I was like, God, Dad, I don't like the process. This is annoying because I had my transmission, an engine, employees, 28 that I went through, not one on my roster today. And I go, man, last summer was so annoying. But I go, let me tell you something right now. You're never going to grow comfortable. You're never going to grow Kevin, in your living room. You're never going to grow, my man, in your living room. You're never going to grow when everything is going good. When you grow is when you're going through the struggle. And the best thing I could do to illustrate that is for those of you who worked out. When you work out, you got to tear that muscle down. You got to just rip it. You got to sweat. You got to just be like, oh, this sucks so bad. But guess what? In tearing down that muscle, baby, that's when you get big. Like, the only way to get bigger is to tear that muscle down. What the heck do you think else is with the brain? Your brain is the same freaking way. Love is the same way. And that's why our divorce rate is so freaking high. And I'm not a genius at it because I've been divorced. Like, clearly don't listen to me. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if every one of us was to exercise and realize that, no, love is not just a feeling. Because if I hang out with you every day, you're going to become annoying to me. If I hang out with you every day, as much as you're cool as who?
No, nobody can hang out with me on a daily basis.
But what I'm saying is, ask my wife. She's probably like, everyone's here is like, oh
No,
my
I
god,
always say
he's
it.
inspirational. He's this. Ask my wife. I'm annoying.
Listen,
Like,
I tell this to everybody.
Yeah.
I say, if you want to make sure your friend becomes your enemy, live with them.
it's true because we're humans and we got our defaults and we got our crappiness about us. But what I'm trying
That's
to
why
say,
marriage is hard.
well, yeah, but think about this though. In both of y'all's marriage, like I said, y'all's marriage, I don't even know where it's at. It could
No,
be
mine's
awesome.
at a good point
Okay,
right now, but marriage is not easy.
But no, hell no, it's not easy. But what I'm saying is, think about this: everything, all the models of work. Think about all the jobs that we have now; they're becoming obsolete because we're online. Everything's becoming online, and we're not adjusting to it. But think about this: if with the old model is 50-50, you're 50, you're 50. And then together it's 100, right? It makes a marriage work, 50-50. No, it's not a 50-50 situation. Give 120. Give 120. Together, that's 240. We're now going to work this marriage out. So if everyone every day is trying their best. Now, is every day you're going to be the best husband
No,
ever?
but the other one's going to be given 120.
Well, my point in saying is what
Pick each other up.
That's my point, is if everyone tried, because I don't accomplish it every day. Do I try every day? Absolutely, I try every day to be the best version of myself. But ask my wife, I'm not. Ask my ex, I'm not. Like, trust me, ask my kids, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I'm going to try to be the best. And if both people are doing that, think about that. If you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you're not going to want to stay in that crappy dead-end job. And again, if you have a good job, then stick with it, dude. Congratulations, you have succeeded in life. You are happy. But if you are not, I'm telling you, you can change it. And I don't give a damn how old you are. You can change it. You can freaking change. And it starts with day by day, but it also takes immersion in the change that you want to do. You can't just, because see, people try to go, I want to change 10 things. Dude, you're not going to change 10 things tomorrow. No. I promise you, after this conversation, you will not change 10 things. You might change 2, though. Learn to negotiate with yourself, because you have a brain. You have two sides. You know what you're going to do, and you know what you're not. Like right now, you literally, I could tell you to quit something. You know what you're going to quit, and you know what you're not.
That's so funny.
Don't fool yourself.
You've already got it in your mind what you want to do.
But we fool ourselves, because I can look at you right now and say, dude, you got to quit something. Yeah. Quit something. Sure. And you're going to say, oh, I'm going to quit whatever.
Oh, dude.
You know before you even say it what you're going to quit. So why are you bullshitting yourself?
Yeah, 100%. And you know, so when you set your goals, your expectations, like, oh, I'm going to start working out. Why does everybody say I'm going to wait till Monday? You get what I'm trying to say? Because they're giving themselves that extra time to back out.
You're BSing yourself.
You're BSing yourself. You know, because if you really wanted to, you
do it.
Like 100% wanted to, tomorrow's just as good. But that person knows that. That person does it.
Right now, though.
Right now, they know.
Right now is the time, though. And that's the thing that we got to get is that, and again, I was that person that I go, and I still do the tomorrow thing. Like I said, I'm better at
tons of stuff.
I'm better, but I still have tons to improve on. And I'll always have tons to improve on. But I really genuinely believe, and not only believe, but it's proven to me, because I'm not Einstein, but Einstein, one of the things that made Einstein so awesome was that a lot of his theories and a lot of stuff, he did that on himself. Like, he tried those things. Like, everything that, like meditation, like, I don't know if any of you guys do meditation.
No.
Huge. And most people go, oh, meditation, that's like that Zimbabwe, like, African, like, Lion King with the dude, and he painted this, and it's all this. No, dude, meditation is just about slowing your mind down, because we live in such a high-paced world, and it's so techno and everything that we're just overstimulated. And why do you think depression is at the height that it's at like, I think it's, I don't even know the staggering number. I want to say it's like almost 80%. Maybe it's not, but a lot of people are on antidepressants and drugs and stuff ridiculous. Like that. And it's because and why do you think so? It's because majority of people go, what are you doing? You live for Friday, you go out Friday, you do this, and it's just basic. There's nothing. Like, of course I'm going to be depressed. I'm not doing nothing with my life. Are you affecting anybody for the good? And I'm not saying everybody has to be a motivational speaker. I'm not saying everybody has to be a coach. But find something that's meaning. Find something that's outside of yourself. Stop being such a selfish person and thinking about yourself, because life in 2019, the majority, a lot of people are just about me. We chase pleasure. I chase pleasure. We chase pleasure. And that's all we chase. And that's an empty thing to chase. So I want people to go, man, life is not going to be easy. Life is never going to hand you over just like a bed of roses. You might have a rosy season, but it's never going to be just beautiful. So why don't you accept that? Why don't you train yourself? I want to train myself that when my dad or my mom dies, I'm the strongest at the funeral. I don't want to break. I don't want to go. If I get divorced, something bad happens, my kid dies, I don't want to lose it. So why don't we train ourselves on a daily basis to not fail? Oh man,
how much do you believe community has an impact?
Everything.
Because this isn't, if you really take a step back, right? Life is the least selfish thing that there is, right? Because your impact, my impact, let's just say we're all forced to live in a building together and we can't leave this building, right? We have to form some sort of community.
Absolutely.
Right? We have to live. We have to survive, right?
What happened after 9/11?
Community. Like
worldwide community.
Worldwide community. So my thing is, it's like, so I think too many people are struggling on an island.
Yeah. And we want to struggle on it, and we're just completely by ourselves. And we don't realize that the top 5, and I'm maybe the top 5, we got to figure out. But the top 5 people that you're around is who you are.
Yeah.
If the top 5 people are smokers, you're going to be number 6.
Yeah.
The top 5 people that you're hanging around is broke statistically. And don't hold me to like all these stuff, because this is not just like blanket statements. It's just saying statistically and just stuff like that. Top 5 people you're around is who you're going to be. So if you're not around anybody successful or any aspirations or anything, you're probably going to be the 6th person that's not going to be aspiration or doing anything in your life. So we got to I want people to think. I just want people to think a little more, and that, like, I really genuinely, when I go to the store with my wife and my kids, I enjoy that.
I want to argue that point.
No, you can argue it because you might have a miserable time.
No. I'm talking about.
He's like, I hate going to my wife in my store.
I hate Target.
I'm talking about.
Kevin hates this.
Okay, so I wouldn't say to a fault. So even my mother says, "Why do you hang out with who you do?" This is not to zero you out. In your worst time, who did you come to?
You, dude, for sure.
But was I affected by it? Did I even drink with you?
No, probably not.
I didn't have one drink with you.
No,
but
never.
I let you
Actually,
sit
never.
in my garage and do what you're going to do. Because, and I feel this, all right? I have a lot of friends that I would like to say are outreach programs. I mean, honestly. They don't tend to affect me, but I feel like that God gives spiritual gifts, and that is mine.
He does.
I can be around a group of individuals that most people see as cast-outs, and I can treat them like fine individuals, like any of us.
You need water?
Yeah. And I like to think that I bring them up and I don't bring them down. And I meet them at where they are. Now, people looking in from the outside see, why is Kevin with Jonathan, who's a pill addict that is drinking 11 beers a day, that has almost died from this? Why is he letting him into his house around his family? Because I'll tell you why. I know you're a good guy, and I knew you would get here. Doesn't mean I have to act like you. So I don't want that to come off as misconstrued of, if you have bad friends that you look out for, to drop them.
No.
Because that I would wholeheartedly disagree with. You need to be, if you're in a good place, you need to bring your friends up.
Oh, no, and dude,
I'll let them bring you down.
This is, and for sure 100% what he said. 1,000%. I am not saying just drop your struggling. No, man, because I'm going to tell you right now, he didn't judge me. And the majority of people in my life that did judge me and said, it's in your 6 inches. It's in your head. You're rude. Oh, just stop drinking. Oh, that's all I got to stop doing? Oh, stop taking Xanax? Oh, that's it? So it was a judgment, but he never did. And so so love on people. I'm just simply saying the people that you are like,
meet them where they're at.
yes, and that's where church went wrong. Now it's a little different. I mean, church has got a whole other problem, because church has got the problem of tithe, and church has got the problem with the fact that the society that we live in today, we need 2 incomes, and no one has the money to tithe, and so that's why
don't go down church and money with
we
me.
Won't. No. Just no. Look. I'm not, because here's the deal. I am a Christian 1,000%, and I believe in God and spiritual. I'm a spiritual being. That's the thing we got to realize, is that this right here, it's a fade, dude. How old are you? How quick did that 30-something years? How quick did that 30-something years go by? Guess what? Another 30-something years is going to go by, and do you want to look back and go, I didn't do the ordinary guy the right way. I kind of half-assed it, and
we were on the fence, and we just never.
What, you see what I'm saying? But
that's why we are where we are.
No, but what I'm saying is, we think we got all this crazy time. I got more gray than my dad, dude.
Last week was 2 minutes ago.
Oh, for sure.
But tonight will go down like this. So do you want to make a huge impact, or you want to make no impact? And that's up to you. That's up to you, dude.
So if I were to add to that topic, right, of have like your 5 closest friends, right? You are your 5 closest friends, or your 5 closest circle. Like you're saying, you're not just dropping.
No.
So I'm not just dropping Kevin because we're not aligned on certain things, right? But I might be dropping the person that's providing zero anything to me,
not encouraging you, just discouraging you, and just talking crap about you.
Like, and that goes to the person that's positively encouraging your bad habits. You get what I'm trying to say?
You can't give anything if you're giving it all.
Well, my thing is, it's like, my mom's got a problem because I'm drinking all the time. Forget your mom, man. She doesn't know you like I know you, man. You're cool. Keep drinking. You're fine, right? That's the person you need to remove from your life.
1,000%.
Right? So if you just switch, and again, so I will be that guy to tell you to go drop a friend, right? Go through your freaking most recent text list and look to see, is there anybody there that just wasted your time? And I don't mean, look, I love genuinely, I love humans. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
I love humans.
Agreed.
I want the best for humans.
You don't have to associate with every single one.
Exactly. That person can easily replace you with somebody else too, right?
Toxic people will drain your energy. Being married to the wrong person will rob you of your destiny. Like 100%. We have to realize, and again, I didn't wake up to this more till the last little over 2 years or whatever. And so I'm in a bit of a conundrum, because I'm pissed because I'm 37 and I just started this awakening thing and kind of realizing that, man, we need to, hey, I'm enjoying right now. I'm enjoying being on this podcast with you, and I'm engaged here. I'm not engaged in anything else. I'm enjoying this, and I want to enjoy this because tomorrow this is gone. And we got to view life like, imagine this cup right here being full of marbles, but a much bigger scale. Throw a marble out every day, and that's one less marble you're gonna have. And Mark Marrow, which is a guy, he was an ex-wrestler, and he's got school programs and all kinds of stuff like that. And he's like a motivational speaker, and I follow him. But he gave the example that he has a jar of marbles, like a big ass jar of marbles, and every day him and his wife go back to his lake and throw one in the pond. And they go, that's a day that you just lost and you're never gonna get back.
What a morning routine with that.
And so when you think, me, you, him, we probably got 30 or 43 summers left. Let me just say that. I got about 43. If I'm lucky and blessed by the grace of God to live to the 80, I got 43 summers.
That's enough for me to see one grandkid get into their 20s. You get what I'm trying
to
say?
But what are you doing? So every day, do you want to get pissed at the driver that flicked you off? Do you want to get pissed off about someone on TV that said the damn word or fuck or what? Like, are you really wanting to get worked up about dumb little stuff? No, life is too short, man. Life is too short, and I'm pissed about the fact that I wasted the 37 that I did, and I didn't waste 37. I would say 35, and I didn't waste it because I did have some accomplishments, and I have affected people for the good, but not to the extent that I want to, and that's why I'm on this, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing my page, and that's why every single day I'm on YouTube. I'm literally, during the day, I'm working, I'm with my business, and I have headphones in, and I'm researching, and I'm reading books, and I'm doing different stuff, because I want to help as many people as I can, and when someone messages me, and when someone goes, man, my son, he's going through a breakup, and your videos are helping, the dopamine hit that I get is ridiculous. So what I'm trying to say is, dopamine is why we do drugs. Replace that with kindness. Replace that with giving. Replace that with becoming the best version of you. All you drug addicts out there, do that. Become the best version of you, and you might just outdo your addiction. It's not a disease. Be kind. Kindness is a healing, not to the other person, because don't get me wrong, kindness to you and kindness to you is going to be awesome. But kindness to another person makes you feel good. We are our own, pharmacy. We can produce every drug. I am to the point. Look up Dr. Limpton. Look up Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if Kevin, have you listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza?
No.
He has done research, and I believe that we can heal ourselves.
I agree.
I believe the placebo effect is real.
Oh, for sure.
So
I do agree with
you
that.
can say whatever you want to say. Go on the Google and look that up, because the placebo effect's real. So how you telling me that the placebo effect is real? We can't harness that. So check this out. Check. I almost said check. I just swallowed my tongue.
If you have the ability to make yourself, we can sit here, right, and I can make myself happy about something within the next 30 seconds. Or sad.
On you.
That's an effect, right? You can affect your body. You can affect your mind. Now, this is say whatever the hell you want to say. It's not hippy-dippy stuff, right? There's a reason. I can make myself feel high in the next couple minutes.
Absolutely. And when I say that, the last year during the summer, when I had my morning routine, and my morning routine would go something like this, and this was my routine throughout the day. I would get up. I'm praying, I'm saying thankful, I'm doing my gratitude list, I'm meditating for at least 10 minutes, and then I'm listening through different stuff throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, I'm listening to stuff in my headphones, and I'm doing different stuff. And so at that point, there was about an average of 3 or 4 times a week that I was hitting this flow state of just total... and I wish I was recording videos at the time, because I wasn't, because I was so afraid. And that's the thing too, is that I know what it's like to be afraid. I was afraid for a year and a half ago. I had never done this. I've been afraid to come on here. I was afraid to go on the Glenn Lundy show. I'm afraid to interview people. This is not my normal self. I'm not I wasn't confident. I wasn't anything. And so to do this, I go, you can do it. You can change your life, man. You can change your life, and don't care that you're 40 or 50 or 60. You got time, but you don't have time.
You know what's cool about going live?
Because
there's no curtain to hide behind. And if you are truly good,
you're screwed
at what you're doing.
Well, I was nervous about that, because I was like, man, I got these little 4-minute, 1-minute, 2-minute videos that here I am going to have to go on this show.
I couldn't tell you how many times, and I kept saying,
I don't even know how many people are on.
I still hate clicking start stream.
Well, this is nervous, dude. It's vulnerable.
Well, when we first
you're vulnerable. It's shoot.
Yep.
When we first started, we were all nervous.
Yeah.
I remember it was, but and then it's I know that's what I told him. I said in about 5 to 7 minutes you'll come in, and you'll come down. And then it'll be like you're just talking.
Well, it's a blur. It's a blur.
And it's funny because when he first came on, and this is not to hit you in any way, but he had a little bit of verbal diarrhea. But then, as soon as he relaxed.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
So the best thing I like about this...
5 minutes.
Well, because here's... And I'll be honest, man, being that we're being real, let's be real. I was going, you're farting dick jokes, and I go...
We can still do that.
What I'm saying is, anytime that I'm representing myself, I realize that building a personal brand, I want to tell who I am. And so the authenticity? Is that a word?
Nailed it.
Okay, all right, authenticity. But with that, I feel like that's how you build a personal brand. The best way is to go, man, y'all, I'm being real. I struggle with depression still. was it yesterday? No, it was last week. Last week, I woke up in the middle of the night, and my thought process was screwed up. My heartbeat was 110 a minute, chilling. Literally chilling. And I'm on heart pressure, or I'm on blood pressure medication, which I want to get off. And then when I turned 37 just recently, I was like, okay, now the next level, the next evolution, the next thing of me is going, ooh, I got to be healthy. Because here's the deal. Steve Jobs, all the important people can see, success leaves clues. Steve Jobs only wore the same outfit every day. You want to know why? Because every day you only have a certain amount of good decisions that you can make. Look it up. Google it. I love saying Google stuff because I don't got to prove it. Go look it up on Google. Go look it up on Google. Every day you only have a certain amount of good decisions you're going to make. So why not lessen the BS? And the BS is going, this or this is pink. Oh my God, it's pink and I want blue. Shut up. Like, shut up. Stop complaining.
Pick your battles.
So pick your battles, man. Like, why don't you worry about the real important stuff, like the mortgage or like the stuff like that? And even that, it's like if you chase what you're, I just believe that every one of us, every one of us, your wife, every one of us, I believe that we're born with a talent. I believe my mouth. Everyone says I can talk. My doctor the other day was like, dude, you can talk. I was like, yeah, no, I can't shut up. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get paid for that one day. Everyone, you're got a talent. You're a talented man. Like, both of you, like, for you guys to have put this together, this is a talent that I do not have. I need a producer. I need a personal assistant to follow me around. That's kind of what I want to make it. I'm like, hey, first thing I'm going to do.
That's our whole goal.
Get me to be a freaking producer. Get me somebody to do this stuff. Because I'm trying to interview Lionel Coleman, a buddy of mine who's a model out in California, an actor, and he's successful. But I'm trying to figure out Zoom. Like, how do I get you on Facebook, live with me next to next? But you guys have this amazing studio. So everybody has talents. And the key to success and the people that are really successful as entrepreneurs or businessmen are the people that can surround themselves with their weakness. And that goes back to going, you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself. I surround myself. My wife is everything good that I'm not on paperwork.
Yeah,
she literally runs my business, my paperwork, and she does payroll and she does all that. Can I do that? Yeah, but for 25 years-ish, I've skirted it because I've been able to surround myself with people that can do my weaknesses. So right now, I'm saying right now, that's not my strength, all this gearing up. That's why I call people like you. That's why I call people like Honeycutt. That's why I call people that are around me because I go, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And I know that I got to improve on, all right, the small, minute stuff are just as important as the big, but I'm focused on the big picture. I'm focused on content. I'm focused on this. I don't have time to go get a Mac and to do this and to do the video, but I know that the video and the mic and the presentation does matter. Everything matters. And so that's kind of where I'm just going, it's about going, get to know yourself. And to get to know yourself is painful because the number one person that you're ever, like the biggest critic.
That moment of realization when you're a piece of shit is kind of enlightening.
But no, some people do. Yeah. Some people never get to that point, and that's what I'm saying.
That's ridiculous.
Some people die drug addicts. Some people die lying to themselves their whole life. You can look at yourself in the mirror and go, you're lying to yourself. Are you kidding me? But we can lie to ourselves real easy, and I know because I lied to myself for a long time, my whole life. And then when it was to get to know yourself. And so I've gotten some comments online. I've gotten called matchhead. I've gotten called a terrorist. I've gotten called Osama bin Laden.
Like, the hell is a matchhead?
Well, I had this whole I had this hairpiece that was back, and I had girl glasses on. But it's so freeing to go, you make your comments, do whatever you got to do. I do not care. Tonight, you can say whatever you want. Well, that's why I go, there's your side and there's my side. And I told you back in the day that I was slightly envious of you to go, man, emotionally, you're just you're buttoned up. You're good to go. None of that crap matters. Back in the day, all that used to matter to me.
Yeah, but like I told you, it's like a duck.
Give him a few white
under
claws.
The water. Under the water, the feet are just going wide open. Up top, it's cool, but Morgan will tell you the feet are wide open. My problem is I bring all that stress home and I go on top of her.
I have a tendency a little bit.
That's what I do.
I think that's normal. So, and I want to take a second too, because we've touched on it a couple times. We've brought up, better halves, wives, and whatnot. And
mine's a saint. I just want to shout that out.
But think about that for 1 second. Think about that
She is.
for 1 second. I've grown to love Kevin. Kevin's a great friend of mine.
I've grown to love Kevin. I didn't love
Most
him
people
first.
hate me when they meet me.
No, but that's the thing, right? So it's like, so for example, like, you know, I can meet somebody tomorrow, and I could let's just say I met Kevin 10 years ago, and Kevin and I said, hey, we're gonna be best friends. We would both be like, okay, cool, but I go home and I'm not thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's out of my mind, right? Our spouses, and again, this is off the cuff, so this is not like a rehearsed thing. It's kind of weird to say, right? So if you think about what like our spouses do, I mean, we are we're three selfish individuals. Meaning like, you know, you just said you want a personal assistant.
Yeah.
I've been wanting a personal assistant.
We're not even to that level. We're like
Not even
micro,
close.
dude. Like,
I want a personal assistant that wants to do it for free because they're like, oh, this dude's going somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
But you get what I'm trying to say?
Every one of us
Think
has
of our
it.
mentality, right? We want personal assistants.
For sure.
That comes out into, like, outside of those walls.
Oh, yeah.
It comes out.
Oh, for sure.
Babe, did you do this? Did you do that? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And the fact that they don't hate us enough to
leave.
leave.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And that's the thing is, too, my wife keeps me humble. My God, she keeps me humble because it's like, you know, everyone does. And that's the thing about social media. And I'm going to say it right here. I have snippets of my life. Like, I'm not going to post hey, me and my wife are arguing like crazy. Snap that.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm going to post the good. I'm going to post all that stuff. And we get wrapped up too much in that. And that's a whole other topic because a lot
On
of
the
people.
flip side of that, I hate when people are like, I love my wife, blah, 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 blah. I've done it.
Well, I hate
But-
You know, you got to
when
do
they-
that stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do that stuff. And I love my wife
The
when
ones
I
I'm talking to are every day.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I'm
then
not
it
a
doesn't
fan.
seem genuine.
I'm not a fan of the weekly Man Crush Monday and Women Crush Wednesday when it's like the same picture of their spouse.
buddy.
Where
You got to
they're
every
like,
once in a while.
this is my woman crush. You know,
Yeah,
same
and it's like,
picture.
do you really want to share like a sexy picture of your wife? Because that's for me. You know, that ain't for
Well,
you.
no. First of all, I don't. No, sexy anything. No, that's for me.
But you see that.
I'm not
meaning
gonna say
you see
names.
those
No, I'm
posts.
not gonna say names. But I go some of the stuff I see sometimes. I'm like, you're that's your wife, and she's taking a picture. And
I've
for
seen
one,
some where I'm like-
she's going out with that. But that goes back to we could literally open up a whole can of worms because I go, man, you got to be modest. You got to be thoughtful. You got to why don't. We're going too far to this other end of the opposite of marriage and the opposite. Like we have online, we have micro cheating, we have literally so many things, like so many options. It's like, are you ever, can you just look at what's in front of you? Like, let's stop going online. Let's stop going. We got to stop this. It's crazy because divorce rate is over 50%. It's worse in the church. And it's like, come on, dude. The number one thing that most everyone chases is, I forget the percentage it was that most people are unhappy. As far as loneliness, there's so many people that are lonely, but yet we live in the greatest era of cell phone technology connection. You know why? Because we're eliminating. I'm touching you. I'm in person,
You're
man.
watching. I was going to try to say this. You're watching somebody's highlight reel.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna be discontent because you're watching their highlight reel. The only difference between me and
I had you tricked into thinking I'm happy all the time.
Well, you know, I have you thinking that I'm this inspirational, like totally not depressed or not like angry ever. No, man, I get mad. Earlier today, I was totally getting annoyed. With a situation that happened at work or whatever in the first part of the morning, and I was like, and I stopped myself because at least now I can stop myself when I'm in these stupidity like roller coasters that are about to go down. I was like, all right, hold on, dude. You started off your morning a little weak. Let's take a step back and chill out for a second. So
I can't do that.
Well, you got to become conscious, and you have to work on it. It's not.
I'm conscious.
The longer
Just
the
not
day goes on,
changing.
the longer the day goes on, the less time you have to turn it around. You know what I'm saying?
It really is.
So, like you said, you figure
Frank,
it out.
you
in the
know
morning.
me probably better than Jonathan does. If the match has been struck, I'm going to burn the building down.
But
you know that. Like, it's going down.
That's when I just ignore him.
well, I mean, and dude,
You're not
everybody.
catching my house
Yeah,
on fire
and,
either.
and everybody has those. Like I have a tendency. Again, you can ask
That's
my wife. Of
that's
running my
depression.
mouth. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
get angry to fight it.
But no, but see, I was listening to Ed Milet, and he was interviewing Grant Cardone. So Ed Milet and Grant Cardone. I don't know if you guys know who Grant Cardone is.
I looked him up when you told me.
Okay,
that.
Grant Cardone and Ed Milet. super successful. And so what I look nowadays is if you don't talk, I'm good. I want to know success. So success leaves clues, 1,000%. So if you want to be something, if you want to be or go towards, just go and look it up. We live on the internet world. So YouTube is the most amazing thing that has ever been invented, in my opinion, next to Google, is because there's just nothing but knowledge on there. There's BS on there, and you can look up crap, but you can also look up amazing stuff. So get the frick on YouTube and research what you want to become. Research the things whatever you're lacking, research. And so that's what I'm saying, is like 10,000 hours is the average, they say, that it's going to take you to become a master at something. I'm going to be, and it takes you 10 years, the average human. I'm already at, I think it was at 4,000 or 5,000. I want to say I'm close to 5,000 in under 2.5, or it was under 2.5 years into 5,000. I'm going to hit 10,000. I'm going to hit 20,000. I'm going to hit 30,000. I'm going to hit 40,000, because I'm never going to stop wanting to learn. I always want to learn, because why would you not want to navigate through life better than the majority of people? Like, the percentages are crappy. It's crazy the amount of people that are on medication. It's crazy.
I think you're totally right about learning something, though, and that's what I found myself. Like, everybody calls me when something's broken. I don't research things like you research, but I research how to, like, fix a TV, fix a cell phone. Like, I can literally work on anything, and I knew nothing. And YouTube was my wealth of knowledge, and people make fun of that. But by God,
you can build a house.
Frank, if you got a problem with the Forerunner, I can fix it.
Yeah.
And if you got a problem with the washing machine, I can fix it.
Dude, I'll be in the middle of working on something in the garage, right? And I'm like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. I'm watching woodworking videos, like, with the saw in my hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and that somebody has figured it out and put in the time so that you don't.
There's nothing new. There's nothing new for the most part. There's nothing new.
If I said you have to sail from Cape Canaveral, I need you to land in a port in England, right? What's the first thing you're gonna ask if you didn't already know? Like,
I'm gonna go, okay, Google.
Right? You say,
Google or YouTube, one of the two.
Or hey, well, where's the map? Like, how do I get there?
Success leaves a clue,
right? Because it's already done. It's already done. It's already there.
There's a wealth of available knowledge.
But that access to that wealth of available knowledge is where I think a lot of stuff goes to die. Right, because you gotta want it. They have the intentions of going out there. It dies. Dude, right, we're talking about relationships ending. These micro cheating, people, finding somebody online, leaving. Right, all this stuff. First off, they probably shouldn't have got married in the first place. They're skewing the
know yourself.
Ratio,
like,
right?
Know yourself. Don't rob somebody of, like, marriage or business or whatever.
And
the
don't
frick.
Just quit. I want to say something. I want to say something.
It's too easy.
Real quick.
50 years ago, quitting meant what? I gotta go. 50 years ago, quitting. Where are you gonna meet somebody else? You met this girl in like grammar school. You get what I'm trying to say?
I want to say something that
whatever it was, a store
that are thinking about divorce or serious breakups. I've said this, and it held true to me. Is if you go to somebody that's been married to 25, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Everybody has that couple they can think of. Like, they've been married forever.
Yeah.
Like, they must be perfect, right? They must love each other more than anybody else.
My grandparents.
But the point is they don't. But if you talk to them and you sit them down and say, how have you managed to stay married this long? And how has it been?
Oh, I asked my grandmother that question about a month ago. You know what her answer was?
Never failed to love the same
30
time.
years ago, I realized he wasn't going to change.
Right. That's number one. But here's the other thing. First off, you can't ever go into a relationship expecting somebody to change. But number two is you have to ask those people that have been married forever, how has it been? Their answer is going to always be the same. There's been some good and bad years.
Always good and bad. Years, exactly.
Years.
Not days.
Not days, not weeks, not months.
Yeah.
Years, meaning they may have had 5 bad years.
I literally...
made it because there is an up and there's a down,
absolutely.
Just like with depression.
Yeah.
See it the same way. People don't want to ride the roller coaster. They just want to ride the.
They're just out because everything's easy. Like, literally, you can swipe left, swipe right, and then you and Facebook is
with a whole other set of problems.
No, and if you have this thing on in your ring, it's like, oh, he's taken, so that means some woman thinks he's awesome. Let's go after him. Like, I can't even begin to like tell you the stories that I go, man. Like, marriage used to be like, oh, she's married, back off. No, now it's like she's married. Woo! Look,
if you friend my wife,
ooh.
Somebody's getting hurt.
Because a really attractive man or woman who's, let's just say, older, and older means like not in your mid-20s anymore, right?
Yeah.
Without a ring on their finger, there's a problem. Why isn't that person?
Why aren't they?
Exactly. Why? What's wrong with them, right? And back to loneliness, man. loneliness, this is part of the reason, right? If you don't want to be lonely, so you just marry somebody or you develop these relationships. Now, a lot of this is, again, so you've got guys who think that they're undesirable, go for the first one, and then you've got girls who are afraid of that biological clock.
Dude, and you rob yourself, man.
They rob themselves. So, but part of the solution to that, and I mean, again, I'm not qualified to be given any of this stuff, right?
Neither am I. This is what I've lived. Okay.
No, but life experience is qualification.
It is.
But go out and do something. Find a hobby, right? Because you know why you're lonely? Because you're waking up, you're going to work, you're coming home, you're making some dinner, you're going to sleep, you're waking up, you're going to work. You're going to be effing lonely. And again, okay, this is where the dick jokes come in. Guys, they want sex, right?
No, I mean,
right?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
So,
that's what drives us.
As you're going through those boring, monotonous cycles, and you're thinking, it would be cool if somebody would just play with my penis at some point throughout this cycle, right? First girl.
And
done.
then you rob yourself.
Rob yourself.
Yep.
And it's got nothing to do with the girl. You robbed her, too, right? You guys both, you screwed each other up. Find purpose. Do something. Start riding a bike. Start going for a walk somewhere. A hobby, man. Do something.
I think it's to have goals together.
Well,
that's when you develop the relationship. I'm talking about the guy who
No,
finds
so you're talking about single.
Yeah, the guy who finds forces the relationship because he's just effing lonely. You know what I mean? It's a problem. It's effing lonely when you're like this. I wonder if there's anybody online to talk to.
Yeah, and looking at the highlight reel.
Right.
Well, literally though, I've had friends that go, man, I'm so lonely, and I go, I mean, you're not going anywhere to meet someone. So don't say that you can't find anybody. Well, yeah. Excuse me. You can't find anybody because you're not doing anything new. You're not. Sorry, my goodness. I'm about to die. But no, you're not finding anybody new. And so don't complain to me. If you're happy, cool. And I'm not going to argue with you. But if you're complaining, get out of here, dude. Get out of here with that. Because change it. If you want change, change yourself.
I can understand the person asking for help. Hey, I'm doing all these things, but I'm still not finding somebody, or I'm still lonely. What can I do differently? Don't come to me not having tried anything.
The problem is you're looking.
Well, they're looking.
Take responsibility for your life.
Did you ever find
I've been the single guy
looking for it?
Yeah, but I've been the single guy going out. Like in college, all my friends had girlfriends at some point, right? After a couple years, everybody starts finding somebody. And where am I going? I'm going to the same bars where we would all go. But we were hanging out, but now it's just two of us. And now it's getting kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Who am I going to run into? Somebody who's just like me, who's with her one friend, who's drunk at a bar. It's not going
It's
anywhere.
meaningless, and your thing is you're never going to get anywhere, but see, the thing is that we don't realize too, and this is the part I think that kind of frustrates me a little bit, is that some people are going to die drug addicts.
Yeah.
Some people are going to die addicted to your old, and see, people don't get that a thought process or thinking patterns are addictive. Like, if you're trying to not become, like, okay, let's say that he was born a non-angry person. He's not agitated ever. What made Kevin so angry? So one day you had a bad day and you were pissed. And you were pissed the whole day. And then the next day you refired it. Every time that you refire that, every time that you act that habit that you don't want to, you're firing that in your genetics, in your system. You are going to make yourself an angry person. I don't believe that anyone's born angry. I don't believe that anyone's born a cheater. I don't believe anyone's born a shithead. I don't believe anyone's born crappy or a bad. You are not born. God did not create you to be crappy. So you're just going, oh, this is who I am. No, it's not who you are. It's not who you are at all. Like, don't be a douchebag.
Right, you're choosing to be this
You're
person,
choosing to be that. And what happened is you didn't realize that by being that person again today, tomorrow, the next day, and all of a sudden 21 days later, you're pissed. And now from being just a pissed off or a bad situation, you became that person. You change yourself into that person so you can unchange yourself from that. But the problem is none of us want to become conscious
Here's the problem.
of where the frick we're at. We don't want to ask questions. And then we go, I've asked every question. I've tried to lose weight 1,000,000 times. Have you really tried 1,000,000 times? Because pretty sure it's probably only been like 20.
It's a lot of times.
And there's 1,000,000 times. And I guarantee you that you'll find, if you ask yourself the right question, your brain will find, but you can't BS yourself. And that's the problem.
Here's the problem. So here's where my thing came in. So there's strength and anger. All right. So
Channel it.
a lot of athletes. All right. A lot of athletes strive, especially like combat athletes and people that play football and aggressive sports. Anger drives them. So in my life, as we know, my past, I was an athlete. Anger is a big part of an athlete's life, and I threw that over into business and life in general. So when things would attack me, instead of falling into a hole of depression, I would get angry, because anger can be controlled in a positive aspect.
It can be.
It burns the people around me.
Yeah.
But in my business and in my life and in my success, it does help. So it's a double-edged sword, because if I was a pacifist and I said, he's going to die.
It sounds like
if I was a pacifist, I probably wouldn't be where I am at now.
Not at all.
Success-wise, but I probably have a lot better relationships.
So, yeah.
Well, see, your strengths can be your Achilles heel. My strength is my emotion, my passion, but that's the same thing that bites me in the butt, because I feel a little.
It just
too
shows
much
that no matter
sometimes.
where
Look,
you are, there's always going to be something you
you're
can
never
improve.
Nobody's
you're never
perfect.
Okay, we just said it. We can close the show right now.
Yeah.
No one is ever perfect. Give yourself some grace, but don't also lie to yourself and go, I'm awesome, I'm this. No, dude. If you suck, if you're a bad parent, or if you curse too much at your kids, or if you, I don't know, microcheat, I don't know what the frick you do. Whatever it is you do, don't lie to yourself, though.
What
and
do you
say,
call micro-cheating, by the way? I've never heard that.
micro-cheating is kind of like, a
Flirting
friendly,
online?
no, just a text. Like or someone messages you, hey, how are you doing? You look great. That's micro-cheating.
I want to say something real quick. People
Oh,
ask
it's a
me
different-
what I think cheating is. Cheating is if it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Cheating is if you swipe.
If you're doing it
You don't-
and it makes you feel uncomfortable,
You shouldn't do it.
then you shouldn't be doing it.
Kevin,
Sure.
let's not even get on this topic. It's a totally different topic. Like, let's just
Yeah,
get
I know.
off-
We should.
Let's just get off this
But
topic, because there's
would
no
you
way.
agree?
No, 100%. Because here's the deal, and that's the thing I go to, is that we lie to ourselves. Don't think that talking 45 minutes to a guy at a bar and you're married is okay. It's not, because.
Probably shouldn't be there in the first place.
Well, no, you can go out, you can talk, you do whatever, but I'm saying, like,
You're
don't.
talking by yourself.
You're by yourself. Why are you doing
Yeah.
these things? Why are you putting yourself? It's like, why are you putting the temptations in front of yourself like that? And again, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, and I'm not judging anybody. But I go, you gotta just be mindful of where you're at every day.
Sure.
So all I'm saying is that every day, try your best to be mindful and to try to become the best version of yourself. And I promise you that at the end of a year or whatever, if every day you just put a piece of paper down, it's very little. That's like a 0.05%. But at some point, you will be 100% a different person. And I promise you can make it work. Because again, I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to Harvard. I don't have no credentials. But what I can tell you is that I was a freaking mess, and that I was not good, and that I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here on this. So every day that I'm alive, I go, hey, I'm on the Ordinary Guys show tonight. That's a freaking bonus, because I shouldn't be here. So whoever I impact, whether it was one person or two people or three, if I just impacted one tonight, then I go, I succeeded, and I get to sleep a little better tonight, because I go, I helped one person out. What did you help? Who did you help? What are you helping? Are you just helping yourself? Or are you just helping your bottom line? I promise you, if you chase you and what you want and your ego, you will be unhappy the rest of your life. And I promise you, you will not be able to attain happiness in a guitar, in lights, in books, in statues, in houses, in cars. You won't, because I've gone from nothing to some things. And every time, like just recently when I bought my house like 2.5 years ago, it was the first house I bought for 2.5. I was like, yeah, 2-story, gated community. I thought I was going to feel different. What the frick? Like, I thought that this was going to make... It's not what... It's the... What did the goal make you? It's not about that. It's what did the goal make you? That's the key to the whole thing, is what did the goal make you? It's not about the goal. It's what did the goal make you?
Do you think, and maybe I'm opening up a whole can of worms, whole nother conversation. Do you think some people are just broken?
Yes, but the thing is, you got to...
Did they break themselves? You get what
No,
I'm
I
trying
wouldn't
to
say. I wouldn't say break themselves. I would say more. You allowed yourself to be broken, because there can be so many situations where, yeah, you're broken, dude. I mean, if you go, like, I was broken. Like, a divorce almost broke me. Like, losing my son to 84 nights out of the year, that broke me. And it literally almost broke me. But that's what I'm saying, is that most people have to go to failure, or they have to fail to change.
Sure.
They have to go through
a
catastrophic event for the change to implement or whatever. And I'm going, you don't have to get to that point to change. You don't have to go through a divorce or a death or a loss of a business or a loss of whatever. You can just go, hey, every day, the only person you got to compete with, nobody on Facebook, nobody on YouTube, nobody. Just compete with yourself. The person that you were yesterday, just be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And if you do that, eventually your life will sort itself out. Like, it's going to sort itself out. If you're more knowledgeable, you will.
So I think some people probably have to be aware of where they're going. You know what I'm trying to say? And catch themselves. And that's kind of what you're talking about, right? It's like you can change. But for the people who think that they're on the right track anyway, right? So
let me take a quick phone call. Y'all keep this real quick. I apologize. I got to take a quick phone call real quick. I'll be right back. Kevin, and you guys take care of that. So call real quick.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
If we want to go again, we'll go again. But
hey, let's wrap it up.
Go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I enjoyed this. I had a fun time with this.
I did too.
This is, for the people who are listening to the show and who've listened all the way through, this is what I've been telling Kevin since Kevin and I took over, just the two of us. This was the goal. And it doesn't mean that we're going to talk about a serious topic every night. It meant that this is the Ordinary Guy show for a reason. Jonathan's an ordinary guy. He's just an ordinary guy trying to do just a little bit of something extraordinary. Right? And that's what we all are trying to do. You know what I mean? We're not, I don't want Jordan Peterson in here, right? We're not going to impact him. There's nothing we're going to do.
Have you listened to his stuff?
I love his stuff.
I had no idea.
There's nothing.
The lobster thing blew my mind.
I read his books. I listened to him. There's a lot of people I like. I listen to people who I don't agree with all the time.
It grounds you.
I got to know the other side of it. You know what I'm trying to say? And I try to be motivational, especially when we talk about the health and stuff like that, because, I've changed my life around. But, I'm not at Jonathan's level. I'm not yelling at people. I don't have the energy for that. But again, I wanted people to realize that there are ordinary people all over the place just doing things, getting things done. Right, and we can all do that. We can all learn a little something from each other. If I can just wrap this up with one thing, it's the strength of community. I think that being, we're very tribal, and just look at the people that you surround yourself with, and don't be selfish. What can these people do for me? But what can I also do for these people? And guess what? If you are number one in your group of 6. Replace number 6 with somebody who's better than you. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, move up. Cycle that friend out. So knowing that Kevin's cutting me out, he's going to be better friends with John.
No, I was actually going to say I'm going to jump. I'm going to have to jump you.
So there you go. But anyway, Kevin, you got anything?
Subscribe to the show. Do us a favor. Subscribe, share. Yeah, I feel like this was a great one. If you want to tell a friend about a show, tell them about this episode. I feel like this is the one where it's like, we can bait and switch them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
They're like, this is incredible. And then they go listen to
watch
Bob
episode
Lazar
20, 32.
and the history of porn.
Yeah. But those had their purpose too. You get what I'm trying to say?
They got great reviews.
People loved it. You know what I realized people liked about the history of porn episode was all of our
being
tags.
Uncomfortable.
Well, you be uncomfortable for one, but all of our tags were things that people search for when they search for porn. So if you look, that video has the most thumbs down of any videos that we had.
Because it's not porn.
Because like 2 minutes into it, they're like, this is not porn.
Yeah. Why are they looking at porn on YouTube?
I don't know, man. It's probably grandparents who haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's like, hey, Sonny, I got the intranets today. I'm going to go check out the pornographies.
But, all right, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
See you
Hope
later.
you enjoyed the show.